So tonight we're going to deal with talking about exponents, more about exponents. But this time we're going to look at some exponent rules. And this is actually part 1 of our exponent rules. So I want for a second for you to look at the following problem. And I want you to consider this. If I said to you 3 to the 4th times 3 to the 5th, and I said, what does that equal? Now, you could tell it to me in terms of I could figure out what 3 to the 4th is, and then I could figure out what 3 to the 5th is, and then I could multiply those together. But that's a lot of work for our answer. And it's a big number. But instead, what if I said leave it as an exponent? So let's think about this. 3 to the 4th is really 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. That's times 3 to the 5th, which is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Let's see, it's 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Times 3 times 3 times 3 times... Well, if you think about that all together, that's really 3 multiplied together 9 times, which is actually 3 to the 9th power. Take a look at this. If I said what is c squared times c cubed? Well, we know c squared is c times c, and c cubed is c times c times c. That's actually c, 5 c's being multiplied together. So that's going to be c to the 5th power. So c squared times c cubed is c to the 5th power. Okay, that's not bad. But what if I said x to the 25th times x to the 130th? Now, I know for a fact that you don't want to write out 25 x's and then 130 x's and then count all those x's up. There's got to be a better way. And I hear you saying it. I know you're saying it. You're saying all I have to do is add the exponents. So you're saying, well, if I just take x and take 25 plus 130, that would give me x to the 155th. And if you think about the problems we just did, when I did 3 to the 4th times 3 to the 5th, 4 plus 5 was 9, which was 3 to the 9th. And c squared times c cubed, which gave me c to the 5th, 2 plus 3 was 5. So that actually worked. So this gives me rule number 1. And rule number 1, and these are generic rules, says if I have any power, any base raised to the nth power, and I multiply it to the same base to the nth power, then this is equal to that base, we don't change the base, to the n plus m power. I want you to try these problems here. 9 squared times 9 to the 8th. A to the 4th times a to the 15th. Negative 3x squared times 4x to the 5th. And x squared y cubed times x to the 4th y to the 8th. Would you pause the recording and try these 4 problems. All right, let's see if you did it right. 9 squared times 9 to the 8th. Well, that's 2 plus 8, which gives me 9 to the 10th power. A to the 4th times a to the 15th is a to the 4 plus 15, which gives me a to the 19th power. Now this is a little different because I don't have the same variables all over the place. So when I multiply, I first look at the numbers. And I multiply the numbers first. Because numbers have nothing to do with powers. Negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. X squared times x to the 5th, that's x to the 7th. So I get negative 12x to the 7th. Remember, to add the exponents, the bases have to be exactly the same. So here I have x squared, here I have x to the 4th, that gives me x to the 6th. Here's y cubed, here's y to the 8th, which is y to the 11th, so I get x to the 6th and y to the 11th. Now, take a look at this particular rule. 3 to the 7th over 3 to the 3rd. Now when we think about this, let's talk about what this means. 3 to the 7th is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. That's 7 3's multiplied together. 3 cubed is 3 times 3 times 3. Now, this is a fraction. And in a fraction, when I have the same number on top as I do on the bottom, what can I do with those? Yeah, I can cancel them out. So I can cancel a 3 out, another 3 out, and the final 3 out. And what that leaves me with is 3 to the 4th power. Yes, 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 I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, couldn't I have just subtracted the exponents? And the answer is, yeah, of course. That brings us to rule number 2. A to the m over a to the n is equal to a to the m minus n. The top exponent minus the bottom exponent. All right, try this one for me. Actually, I'm going to give you 2 of them to try. X to the 10th over x to the 3rd, and 12w to the 5th over 2w squared. So I want you to try this one first, these 2 first. Pause the recording and see what you come up with. All right, let's see how you did. X to the 10th over x to the 3rd. What did you get? See? Told you were talking to the computer. X to the 10th over x to the 3rd is x to the 7th. How about 12w to the 5th over 2w squared? I think I caught some of you, because remember, numbers are numbers. And 12 over 2 is really just 12 divided by 2. That's 6. 12 to the 5th over 12 squared. Subtract the exponents, and I get 6w cubed. Now, take a look at this one and see how you do. Be careful. 3 to the 4th times 5 squared times 7 to the 5th over 3 squared times 5 times 7 cubed. Pause your recording, think about this, but I want the answer in exponents. Don't multiply everything out. All right. If you did it right, you broke this apart piece by piece. You started with 3 to the 4th divided by 3 squared. Because they were the same base, I can subtract their exponents. 4 minus 2, well, that's just going to give me 3 squared. When I look at 5 squared divided by 5, or 5 to the first power, that's 2 minus 1, which is 5. So this is times 5, or 5 to the first. Now, finally, we have the last two here, which is 7 to the 5th divided by 7 cubed. 5 minus 3 is 2. So that gives me times 7 squared. So my final answer is 3 squared times 5 times 7 squared. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to, in your book, go to page 26. And I want you to try numbers 1 through 6. But there's a catch to this. After you do those, I want you to come back to the video, and I want you to do two things. I want you to comment on this video, but you need to use your name. I want you to use your first name and your last initial. Don't use your whole last name. First name, last initial, and then I want you to tell me the answer to number 4. But because you can't do exponents on your computer, the way you're going to do it is you're going to do the number, and then you're going to do the caret. And the caret is done by doing Shift 6, and then the exponent. And I want to see who does that, and I want to see if you get it right. And then tomorrow in class, we're going to look and we're going to see how many of you got that one correct. All right, see you then.